Good morning. ADP Chasing is back. It's August. Mike Shope, Pat Carrane, Davis Maddock, Jacob Sanderson. Our heroes will talk risers and fallers, movers and shakers. Let's go. We'll keep this short. Let's go. August 5th, 2025.
ADP Chasing is for when you watch Ship Chasing, you go, these guys are just football guys.
I have my 4% exposure blanket.
Stay poor.
Actually back in if it's Ashane.
Stare into our crystal ball. Close your eyes. All your entries are going to lose anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're not going to tell me how this went. I was here.
It's anti-cabal. It's anti the best ball thought leaders. I'm obviously lying to some degree because, I have a lot of both of these guys.
It's the most disgusting pick you can make. But, man.
So intent on keeping the cold open short that I said it twice like a tick in about 5 seconds. But I'm tilted from last week. I just wanted to get through it. Worst possible scenario last week, but we are back. Pat, how was the beach?
The beach was good. We went out on a yacht on Sunday, and we're out in the water. We had one of those little kind of things, flotation device behind the yacht. So we're just out. We found a football-looking coconut. I don't know what it actually was. It was some kind of thing. It wasn't a coconut, but it was, when we were throwing that, it was literally, it looked like a little Nerf football because we bought a football and then the football got lost. I lost my wallet getting out of the Uber to the hotel. So I didn't have it the entire time. Didn't matter. Apparently you don't even need a wallet anymore. I got into every bar. I was able to use Apple Pay. And I got back onto my plane home without an ID. So, yeah, just in case you're worried.
By apparently, you don't need a wallet anymore. Does that just mean apparently you look old now?
Oh yeah, it helps to be old. Yeah, I would recommend being old for this advice.
I actually I had that experience this weekend going into the gas station.
Somehow I feel like I might need a wallet.
You might need a wallet.
You would need a wallet. I normally still get it, just because I'm short. But I did go into a gas station to buy Zins before golf this weekend, and no ID necessary, which is,
I did. There was a couple a few bars have the we check everyone's ID.
Everyone.
But I was like, here's a picture of my passport, and they're like, yeah, we know you're 21.
I will attempt. I will attempt to evoke Rotopat here when I say, and Pat had the best time ever on a beach in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and they were on a yacht, and he lost his wallet, and everything's fine. And then he's being sued by Jacob Sanderson for not having the copyright, the rights to that blanket expression, the exposure blanket. They're coming for you, Pat.
The royalties off of that, I think, are coming in the form of ADP Chasing disbursements and equity and main event teams.
Oh, speaking of which, I think I'm allowed to mention August 18th, we will be joined by Pete Overzet, or we will be joining him on Ship Chasing for our first collab as an official team here, ADP Chasing, for a main event draft at the FFPC August 18th. Very excited about that.
I like the idea of Pete joining us. He has to come.
That's proper.
To come to us to draft that team.
Well, we're coming to the late night. We're flexing that show to
right.
What time is it? It's the evening.
7 or 8.
Yeah, so
7, I think.
Yeah,
it's hard to say, that he's coming to us when we're literally changing the time of the show.
Yeah, Davis, are you already preparing for that? Body clock?
So I stayed up, it was my, this was weekend of my home league draft, and I'm with all my buddies from high school and college and stuff. And we stayed up until 1:00 in the morning watching Chiefs Super Bowl highlights. We watched every Chiefs Super Bowl, the highlight reel. We watched the whole fourth quarter of the 13 seconds game. And we watched Travis Kelce's top 50 career plays. And we were up until about 1 a.m. doing this, just 9 dudes just being like, dude, wasn't Travis Kelce the best? And the next morning, I still am not fully recovered, honestly, from that. But it was a 10 out of 10 experience.
Did you include Super Bowl 4?
No, only Mahomes. Only Mahomes. Wow.
Mike was there for Super Bowl 4.
Mike was there.
I was not there.
Circulating the ball down the field.
But here I am with the MVP of that game.
That is very cool. Nice. That is cool. My man is bringing the Super. No.
Just
Super
don't know why I have that.
Yeah, I want to take a guess. Is that Len Dawson?
That's correct. Yes.
Well,
It-
of
it
course,
is funny
had to
'cause-
be. It was only Len Dawson.
If I had to like guess, okay, Davis was up till 1 a.m. Why? Like watching Chiefs highlights with buddies would be pretty high on the
Number
list.
one.
I think
Yeah. Yeah.
Dawson, by the way, would leave practice every day, training camp, and then go do the 5 o'clock sports or the 6 o'clock sports in Kansas City, and then the next day go back to practice. So he did that part-time. He got into broadcasting when he was still playing, which I can respect that. Jacob's in Winnipeg. I am in a very remote location known as upstairs in my house. We're going to try this on for size after the recent debacle with the
We
internet.
just need to get you. We just need to get you an Ethernet. That's all. That's all we need. We just need to get you an Ethernet. It'll fix all the issues. I just want to address one thing. Rusty said, "Did you move Mahomes down in your rankings after watching what he used to be?" Of course not. Although he did have a very, very visceral experience watching like 25-year-old Travis Kelce catch the ball and just like gallop down the field, just like shrugging safeties off, and then watching what he is now. It was just like, that is not what he looks like anymore. It is a very different experience watching 34-year-old Travis Kelce versus what 25-year-old Travis Kelce was. That was crazy.
Well, Davis, congratulations. You made the first slide. A little bit Chiefs adjacent.
Wow.
Beating the allegations. 2 guys working hard to avoid working at State Farm, Davis. And Dameon Pierce, who was off the pup list last week, besmirched with the State Farm allegation. And I don't know, interested at all?
No, I couldn't be less interested. I think I'm actually curious, Corain and Jacob's take on this, because I wonder if one of them will agree with me. There's this undercurrent of, well, if Mixon is not ready, they're for sure bringing in a veteran player, right? I wonder if they know, like they knew that Mixon is relatively cooked, and that was what the Chubb signing was about to begin with. That the bringing the veteran in has already occurred, and that was signing Chubb to the like $2.5 million guaranteed up to $5 million in incentives deal. Like I think that already happened.
I definitely think that it was somewhat related to this injury from Mixon. I don't know if they're, like, do they have the exact timeline dialed in of when he's going to be back? But I do think it was probably to help with the risk that he does miss time. The problem is that Chubb, this is training camp. This is like when there's puff pieces, literal full-length features about guys who like will never play in the NFL and where they came from and like how hard they've worked. And it's all positivity, right? And then the coaches are like you can literally pull up right now. You can go find like Jalen Reagor hype. Like it's crazy. Like every single veteran who's out there working, it's oh my God, I can't believe how much they've improved. The Texans, like DeMeco Ryans is just openly like, yeah, kind of sucks. Chubb is washed. Like it's really wish this dude could move.
Wish he could move.
Yeah, it's like openly saying he's washed. This doesn't happen. So I don't know.
It's stunning.
It is actually stunning. Yeah.
And the beat writers are not like, there's no difference. Like I forget who it was. So apologies.
It was Texans Wire yesterday.
Well, they would have been aggregating anyway, but yeah, some person who tweeted, it was basically just like Nick Chubb has no ability to get to the second level or the third level.
That's right.
Their running game was dead last year without Mixon, and it will be dead this year again without Mixon is essentially the report. I think that the Chubb was it was a half measure. Like, last year we saw when Mixon did go out, and I remember like writing this on a week to week. They tried Pierce initially as the backup, I think, and he did nothing that they wanted. So then they tried Akers, and he did nothing that they wanted. And they ended up basically just using Dare Goombawale as like the pseudo backup running back plus pass catcher and throwing more. And that might be what they get stuck doing again with Woody Marks. It's bleak. I think that they already needed to address a backup for Mixon regardless. I just don't know why they did the Woody Marks thing in the draft. Why didn't they just draft an actual backup running back who can also catch passes?
I know why they did.
Like they could have just drafted DJ Giddens.
DJ Giddens, man. Come on.
Not again. Not
They
again.
just want a really good pass catching running back, and for like Marks is like the worst in between the tackles runner in the class, but Marks is like a pretty good pass catching back.
I don't even know that he's that good at that.
No, he's actually terrible, but I'm just trying to sugarcoat the fact that I'm like taking Woody Marks all the time now.
He's a good pass catcher in that he is good at catching the pass.
The
he
ball.
can do that.
Yes.
But like all of the issues that make him a terrible runner immediately show up after he's caught the ball.
Once he has the ball in his hands,
do anything with it
right?
At all.
He's fast. He's definitely fast, but like he's like, I'm gonna run as fast as I can, and the second someone comes near me, I'm gonna be like, well,
all right, guys,
hear
me.
Do the math on this. Hear me out quickly first. I think the math leaves a little window open for Pierce. All these other negatives about everybody else. Last week at this time, we're talking about the same backfield, and it was Devin Singletary. Scadaboo's hurt. That's not happening. There's no obvious ETNs in the division. There's no obvious move, including that they already traded next year's third to get Marks. So they've made the trade already too. They could, scour waivers in 3 weeks and maybe they get lucky there, but that's not a plan. So if we hate everybody else, then Pierce, who is somebody that I don't want to say all of us, but was likable as a prospect and has been there, is not necessarily dead.
So
Pierce they
Ultra Bowl,
replaced with
Ultra Bowl
Akers.
for Pierce. If you really, really want to squint, Dameon Pierce was very good as well. He was pretty good as a rookie in a gap scheme rushing attack.
Yeah.
They do the zone switch to whatever his name was, PFF Bobby. Pierce doesn't fit. Gets replaced for Singletary. Never has a chance last year. Still had juice. He had a kick return touchdown. Looked like he could still play. They bring in Nick Caley. Caley comes from originally the Patriots, who had a very gap-heavy scheme. Then goes to the Rams last year, works with McVay as they try to convert from more of a zone-based attack to a gap-based scheme. They're going to be doing a lot more gap-based rushing this year. Maybe Pierce gets reinvigorated. I don't think so. I think D'Amico Ryans just kind of decided he sucks, but
that's what it is. Once your coach has made up your mind, it's so hard to get back. Although the point about the gap scheme versus the zone scheme, I think is a good one. But my read of the situation is I think they know their offensive line is terrible, and the reason why they fired PFF Bobby was they were like sick of the run pass stuff. So I think they are probably going to tilt more pass heavy. And if you're going to tilt more pass heavy, you want to have a running back who can catch passes, which Dameon Pierce didn't do at Florida, didn't do even in his good fantasy football season. I'm taking Woody Marks and just accepting the truism that we are bad at evaluating talent and we get these things wrong all the time. And just maybe Woody just didn't have enough carries. Maybe he didn't have access. Maybe he was bad in the weight room. Maybe getting some NFL conditioning, NFL diet, NFL training. Maybe they've got him doing plyometrics. Maybe he's bigger. Maybe he's stronger.
Davis,
I think they're yes.
Couldn't they be Dallas and throw the ball a million times if their line holds up? I mean, they've won that division 2 years in a row. That
is what they are doing. That is what they are doing. I think your projection, like I don't hear what's your guys' favorite projection source? I'll pull up Mike Clay.
They're all in this room for me.
I'm gonna guess. So Clay has 568 pass attempts for them and 391 rushes, or 442. I'm going to guess that's off by a factor of 10% both ways, that he's low on the pass attempts and high on the rushing attempts. I'm going to guess it's closer to 600, 625 pass attempts, and that there is very little. I would say this. Really low chance anyone on this team gets 200 rushes, whether it be Mixon, whether it be Chubb, whether it be Marks, whether it be Pierce, whomever. I'm going to guess that really doesn't happen.
I think the way you're laying it out is definitely possible and probably becomes the. I mean, first of all, I think maybe like the numbers are probably like a little high that you just did, but like the idea is like, yeah, if Mixon is out. If Mixon is out, then I think they're kind of they're going to be forced to that.
I'm operating
moved
with
up
that
Nico
as
at all,
prior.
or any of the other Texans? Like, are you prioritizing them anymore?
I moved up Noel.
I've already
had him.
I'm pretty bullish
I have
on Noel
Nico
to begin with.
I have Nico all the way up to 7 because I've moved Puka down 1 with the Stafford concerns. So I have Nico all the way up to 7 now.
Ahead of
I'm going
Neighbors.
to be way overweight on him.
Nico
I
is
had
the
Nico
one.
ahead of Neighbors for a bit.
Nico is the one who obviously just like has, because his projection is already so high, an extra 30 passing attempts for the team really shouldn't move him that much. The guys who have something to gain are Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, Dalton Schultz, and Jalen Knoll.
Hard for me to draft more Jaden Higgins than I already am.
Yeah, I'm drafting plenty of
agreed.
those guys.
Before we get into risers and fallers, here's a look at some of the week 1 of the preseason depth charts.
Well,
We've got yes.
Before we move on, how are you guys handling Mixon now? Because he's in spots where like I will have one running back, and I'm in around like pick 100, and so I've got like an elite tight end, elite quarterback, receivers deep, everything's good. I'm like, if Mixon plays, like if this injury kind of doesn't, turn him into absolute dust, which it very well could, but what if it doesn't? On those types of builds, he's like at least in the mix there. But
yes,
where are you guys at on him?
I've come down a little bit from where I was last week. I was my initial reaction was, you're a massive coward if you don't take Joe Mixon ahead of Brian Robinson.
Oh, well, I've been
I guess I
for
still
a while.
Kind of believe, because I just don't take Brian Robinson anyway. But I don't know. The drip of news and the lack of news recently, and the lack of anything from Mixon or the team refuting any of these bearish reports is just very odd. And the sequencing is very strange, where you get the Chubbs, you get the Marks draft pick, which was really weird at the time, how much they paid for a prospect that seemed not that good and largely indistinguishable from several others. And then you get the Chubb signing shortly after, which was a little bit out of nowhere. And then you get this Mixon injury, and you get the fact that it's on NFI and not PUP, which seems suspicious, right? You get this talk that it was, something that happened this year, but related to previous injuries, but they don't say exactly what happened. I'm just getting continually more sketched. So I'll still take him in like kind of what you said, like the 110s, 120s, but it's getting a little on the sketchy side.
Nice transition potentially, as I'm just seeing 2 minutes ago on Twitter, the Texans' contribution to the unofficial depth chart landscape. It goes Chubb, Pierce, Agumbawale, Marks, Jawan Jordan, J.J. Taylor, British Brooks.
So Mixon's not on their official.
He's not on there as he is on PUP.
He's on NFI. Yeah.
Yeah, but they could have
NFI
included him on the depth chart, can't they?
Could.
Judkins is not on the Cleveland.
It's unofficial.
Chart.
Put yours.
Well, Judkins is not on the Cleveland Browns.
Judkins is not on the Browns.
And speaking of Judkins, one thing I wanted to make very clear, I think that I didn't say this when we talked about his legal situation last. You can't be on exempt if you don't have a contract. So the delay in putting him on exempt is directly related, or probably is directly related to him not having a contract.
He's like literally not an employee
by the Chiefs. Yeah. Right. Because the exempt list is essentially paid leave. You can't be on paid leave if you're not an employee. So like when the stuff happened with Hunt, he was cut by the Chiefs, signed with the Browns, is put on exempt list the next day. My guess is the Browns know he's going to go on exempt. And that's why they're like, yeah, don't even worry about this contract situation, buddy. Like, we're not going to sign a contract just for you to go on paid leave the next day.
So the extent to which Judkins is a Brown is that he cannot play for other teams.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
At what point would they like lose the rights to him? You've got to sign him at some point.
A year. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. There is a deadline because somebody brought it up with
Stewart.
Shamar Stewart.
Right. Goes back to college, or a year goes by. Not sure. Travis Hunter. Come on. Jacob. Take it. Take it for a spin.
Yeah, great day to be posting on the internet, seeing that Travis Hunter was listed as a reserve corner and a wide receiver one. Of course, it was the opposite. I would have said the depth charts were entirely meaningless, but it supports my 36% bags. So I think that they're very meaningful. More meaningful, though, was, what was it, overnight or early this morning? We get the Rich Eisen show clip.
Yes.
From saying, can you put a number on what Travis Hunter is going to play? He says, well, we're going to have 65 to 75 snaps in a game. Let's say he plays 80% of those, and we'll try to match up to a similar amount on defense. Yeah, I mean, that's music to my ears as a person saying I think he's going to be playing basically full-time both ways. Would love nothing more than to see him play 80% of the snaps on offense.
Yeah, Jerko shared that this morning, and my reaction was he's literally saying, your dream is our plan.
Yes, yeah.
Like, what is more bullish than that?
I mean, it's been a nice run of news. I mean, if you guys are following, like, what's lost so much in the sauce of the, like, is he going to play cornerback? Is he going to play receiver? Twitter wars. I mean, if you guys just follow the Jaguars beat reporters, like, what is universal is that on both sides of the ball, he could not be drawing more rave reviews. Like, he seems to be quite an unbelievable football player, which should surprise no one, but he's good.
Yeah,
he is very good. It's no surprise. Although I maintain that it's a what is the right? It's not the optimal way to behave to only care about the depth charts when they align with you. Like, I don't care about Travis Hunter being this on the depth chart the same way I don't care about Jack Bash being listed as a reserve. Like, these are the things that handle themselves on the football field. Or I don't care about Brashard Smith being the running back forward. Like, we've had many anecdotes of this. Austin Eckler was the most recent one because he does that Yahoo Fantasy Football podcast with Matt Harmon, and he's like, dude, the coaches don't even care about this. It is literally what people on Twitter say it is. It is literally some marketing intern. It's Hayden Winks when he worked for the Chargers, just like slopping something together for the Blind Seals to
that's definitely true. And you're not saying different when this always skews against rookies. Woody Marks, we just did. Always coaches want to pump up their veterans. You guys already talked about, what they say about everybody. Chubb being the exception, I guess. But the coach on Hunter flies so directly in the face of that, talking him up like he's unstoppable. And so that should probably carry more weight than when it's a veteran talked about that way. A lot more.
Yeah, to be clear, I don't care at all about the depth chart. I mean, I guess it's kind of fun and interesting that they did that, like, it's definitely cool. But, like, I'm not looking to be like, I need to bump up Travis Hunter now because he was listed on the depth chart as both positions. That more makes me kind of just like this Jaguars staff and think that's kind of fun. But when Liam Cohen is saying, like, we're going to try to play him 80% of the offensive snaps and then also get him out there for like 80% of the defensive snaps, that matters to me. And I mean, it's not all he said. They asked him about his ability to play both sides. He said, it's absolutely happening. He's taken massive strides specifically at the receiver position of truly playing it, how to run each route, how to attack leverage. His ball skills and body control are extremely natural. You can't coach that. He makes you miss. He can do something with the ball. So there's like, he said, I do think it's possible he could win offensive and defensive rookie of the year. Like,
yes,
they're not fucking around. They really are going to play him on both sides of the ball, and they're psyched about it. They think it's going to work extremely well. So there was risk, and I guess still like a tiny bit that this is all kind of them talking up their second overall pick, and that they're, when push comes to shove, they're going to kind of pick a week and he'll play he'll primarily play on one side of the ball that week or whatever. But we're trending toward, no, he's seriously going to play both ways, and they almost seems more important to a certain degree that he's out there on offense. So yeah, I mean, I think it just changed when you have a coach saying this type of stuff. It changes a little bit, what I expect to happen in a very positive way. So the depth chart thing doesn't matter so much, but this coach speak, I think, does.
Well, and also you read I think it was like the Dan Graziano. We went to all these training camps. Here are our thoughts piece. One thing that they mentioned which is they gave $20 million guaranteed on a 3x10 contract to Jordan Lewis to be their cornerback 2 this year. Which, I mean, they gave, what was it, $10 million guaranteed to Dameon Brown on a 1 year. So they're playing Jordan Lewis this year. They gave him a considerable amount of money as a cornerback in the offseason. They obviously have Tyson Campbell, who's a stud. So there is a little bit more of a crunch at defensive back, whereas at wide receiver, it's basically wide open after Brian Thomas. I mean, this has been the bull case the whole way along. It's like if Travis Hunter doesn't play wide receiver, then their wide receivers suck and they jettisoned Kirk and Ingram for nothing, right? So I think that there is more of an immediate need for him to play on offense. That seemed to be the view from the reporting. And yeah, it's really quite exciting. I'm curious to see if he actually starts moving back up or if it's just going to stop the slide. But it seemed like people reacted a lot to the 80% comment. I think people like numbers. And that gave them a number. So people got excited by that. So that was I think, big for him.
It's such a good number.
It's such a good number. Yeah.
It is such a good number. Anything on Brian Thomas from this? I mean, that late first, early second is so rich. I was in a 350 night before last, and he went at 207. That's tight end premium, of course, if you forgot.
I don't think it has a huge impact on Brian Thomas. I mean, he's going to be the number 1 this year, and he's awesome. So, like, there's so many targets that became available, and they got rid of Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. If you think about, like, what if Travis Hunter was only playing defense? Like, I have some concerns about, like, the target share is going to be awesome, but I have some concerns about, like, how effective this passing offense is going to be week to week. So I kind of feel like because he's not going to be out there 100% of snaps, and because he's also learning defense at a given week, there's very little chance that Brian Thomas isn't like the number 1 guy when they're designing the game plans. So I think it's a little less threatening than it might otherwise be given a player of Hunter's talent level.
Okay. I agree with that. I mean, it's not changing how I would view Brian Thomas Jr., but I think that there's certain, like, I don't know, what would you say, a 5 to 11% chance that Travis Hunter is better than Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah. I think it could be higher than that.
30%.
Yeah, I'd say like 20. Like 20%. Yeah.
But I think it doesn't, I just don't think it matters that much. Like, if Travis Hunter's as good as Brian Thomas, then they have two
alphas,
top 10 wide receivers in the National Football League. And that's like, and you look at who else is on the team. Again, like Dameon Brown, if Travis Hunter is that good and plays that many snaps, we already know how good BTJ is. Like, then in that case, I suspect Dameon Brown will be doing like a DeMarcus Robinson impersonation and having like a 9%.
No, dude, be careful. The Dameon Brown people, they'll come for you. They really like this guy with 800 career yards.
Yeah, like it's so easy to imagine in that world in which like Dameon Brown has a 9% targets per route run and Parker Washington has an 11% targets per route run and Bretton Strange is a 12% targets per route run. Like, if they need to make room to get 55% of the targets to Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, there are enough crappy players running routes on this team that they can make plenty of room to make that a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, Cohen comes from the Rams and then the Bucks, and it's like these are some of our concentrated offenses kings. Like, that I'm not super worried about him designing a bunch of plays for Parker Washington or whatever. Like, they're going to get the balls to their playmakers.
Not to be so AFC South centric, and we're not even to Jacobs Colts yet, but anything new on their backfield from what we're hearing? I mean, Davis, you and I bumped Bigsby way up in our best ball draft.
Yeah.
Did the same thing in the Big Gorilla. Bigsby right now seems pretty clear, like the week 1 number 1 guy to me.
I think we have initial clarity on the week 1 role, which is, it sounds like Bigsby is the lead runner. Etienne's going to play some on early downs. They're going to try to use them on screens. They're going to try to use them on some outside runs. He's going to play third downs. They see Allen as an eventual third down back. And Tootin, I think, will be probably playing very little, if at all, early in the season. But he's had to deal with some injuries. Bigsby's played well. I think your long-term bet for Tootin for the late season breakout is still alive. But I moved him down a lot because the hope, part of the hope was he would just come in, have a great camp, could potentially be the week 1 guy. I think that's kind of off the table, but I'm still very excited about the late season upside.
Still love Tootin. I am wondering if Tootin is more at risk of losing his initial roster spot to LaQuint Allen and being reverted to the practice squad, or a healthy scratch. Because, go ahead.
He's at no risk of being waived, I don't think, because then
not of being
but to put him on the practice squad, he would have to clear waivers.
He'd be exposed.
Grab him. They're not going to do that, but he could be healthy and active for LaQuint.
Yes,
that's possible.
Yeah, because LaQuint is obviously not as good as Byshell Tootin, but he's basically the best passing down back. LaQuint Allen should have been the Houston Texans. I'd be drafting LaQuint Allen in the 8th round right now on the Houston Texans.
LaQuint Allen is kind of he's in that Dario Gumbawale mold where he's a bigger back. He's like the Charles Sims or the Buck Allen, or the Rashad White type of
Samaj Piran,
like a bit of a bigger guy, but he, is really good as a pass protector and pass catcher. And then maybe he's got a little juice. Like I don't know if he does as a runner, but he might.
I think the most likely thing is probably that LaQuint is there for when they just decide to mothball ETN
or trade ETN. I think like trading ETN, if they really think they have like a pass protection back in, or just a solid third down back as a rookie in LaQuint Allen, then why is ETN there? You've got everything else covered. Like you really don't need. We can definitely throw the ball to Tootin and he can make plays. We got another guy we can trust on third down, and we've got our early down hammer. Like every one of these guys does something better than ETN. Why don't we just move on? Maybe the Texans would be the way to do that.
ETN makes so much sense, and Long has as a trade candidate. It's just tough to find a landing spot for him. Maybe the Bills are a new consideration for that, given what's happened here in the last few days with James Cook. But
is it actually bearish if they trade him to the Texans, since teams don't really trade people interdivisionally?
Yeah,
so
maybe.
If they're willing to do that, it just means like they're like, we'll take anything for this guy.
Yeah.
I think it
concept,
just might piss off
by
Trevor
the way,
if they traded Travis Etienne.
I don't think he cares, man. I don't think he cares. He wants to win games. He doesn't care that much about ETN.
LaQuint Allen is the
fair.
first rookie I heard Davis talk up this year. He drafted him in last call in March. There's love for the Syracuse guy, Allen.
He led college football all running backs in receptions, receiving yards, and he had like a 98.2 PFF pass blocking grade.
Pretty good. Risers, what do you say? Let's run down that list. Tank Bigsby at the top. Woody Marks, AFC South. Jacory, Croskey-Merritt, big mover.
Did none of us pick JCM in last call?
I have him.
He's been picked.
Someone's got him.
He's got okay. I'm happy to hear that someone got him.
And someone already had him.
I picked him in April. Anthony Richardson, Rashee Rice, Nick Chubb, Chase Brown, Mark Andrews on the likely news, and Taj Brooks with Zach Moss being released in Cincinnati. Pat, how bullish can we be on Croskey-Merritt? Like, is week 1, 10 touches in week 1, is that out of the question? How high are you willing to bet on him?
I don't think that's not the play with JCM. The play is he goes through Brian Robinson and just takes that job over the course of the entire season. The way he's being talked about is like this guy, his ability to kind of make cuts. He's doing these jump cuts in the hole. He's like, he's fast. He's getting downhill. He's not so much, I think, a threat to Eckler in the sense that he like kind of mixes in and catches a couple balls or whatever and kind of plays like the secondary running back role. I think that they're going to, at times throughout the early part of the season, throw him in there as a runner and see if what they saw in camp is translating. and then he wins by being their lead runner down the stretch. That he's just providing way more juice than Brian Robinson, and kind of takes that early down role. And maybe he's awesome. So it's kind of a traditional back-weighted rookie play, I would say. I would be pretty surprised if he has a big role in any part of the early season. I think on their unofficial depth chart, he was listed 5th or something. And Dan Quinn might be doing the hardo, the rookie's got to earn it stuff. But he's having this incredible camp. And he was such a, Ben Cummins tagged me because we were in a draft together, and I had taken JCM, and he surfaced a tweet where he asked me, or it's on Discord. So he asked me about him, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to go in the 6th or 7th round. I'm not that into him. By the way, he was a 7th round pick, so I was right about that. But then he goes, it has this incredible camp, and he had this super weird prospect profile where he didn't get to play in his final season because the NCAA totally screwed him over because someone else played games in his number, and they said that the number had played too many games.
Crazy.
It's so stupid.
What a story.
But, I mean, with a guy who didn't get a chance to play his final season, obviously, the error bars are going to be a lot wider in terms of trying to figure out how good he actually is. So I'm very open to the idea that we just all kind of missed on this guy being an awesome runner, and now it's happening. I do think, though, that as a 7th round rookie, we just kind of need to keep our expectations in check for the early part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't pop a ton for me, but I can say that a lot of the film people that I chat with really, really loved this guy. So he was certainly on my
Mike
radar.
Renner had him top 100.
I was going to say, and I think
Sam Monson,
Trevor Sikkema had him up pretty high too.
Sam had him as a top 10 running back before the draft too.
Yeah, so he had a lot of fans that are viable. So
and I think he did real well at the Shrine Bowl. He popped at the Shrine Bowl too. People were excited about him there.
Yeah. So I think it's legitimately interesting. I mean, it's not that at this point, this backfield, now I don't think it's going to be as valuable of a backfield, but I think it is actually pretty similar to the one we just talked about. Brian Robinson is kind of the Tank Bigsby. Austin Eckler is kind of the Travis Etienne, and Jacory Croskey-Merritt is now kind of the Bishal Tootin.
He's a Tootin.
I think the roles are kind of similar. The bet is kind of similar. Obviously, I like Tootin a lot more as a prospect, was drafted a lot higher, but Merritt's done a lot more in camp so far. So it's I think that there's similarities between them.
Comment here about biggest advice from the manifesto and stuff was to avoid zeros. Seems like JCM is a high zero risk candidate. I've been kind of on the I'm not trying to take on zeros stuff as well, because of that finding. But I think at this point needing to switch the way you're thinking about stuff a little bit. And now we're getting to the point, especially in a contest like BBM.
We're at the point of the year where you need to start being more aggressive when you get the news, because you can't say things like, oh, I'm going to take a third quarterback here in June and I'm comfortable to buy player X in the 14th round if I have to. You're here. We're there. We're at the point of the year.
Well, you're at a disadvantage to the teams that drafted early and got the nuts in terms of the guys who've risen up, right? And a lot of those risers are not going to be, guys in the 18th that are going to the 15th. A lot of them are going to be when you could take a bunch of receivers and then get DeAndre Swift at pick 100 or whatever, and now he goes in the 6th, so those builds aren't available. So there's things that if some of these guys hit that are going in the 6th and 7th, and they used to be going in the 10th and 11th, those early teams are really going to capitalize on that, and you're at a disadvantage there. But the one thing that you can absolutely crush them on is if there's a dude that just wasn't really drafted in the early part of the tournament and he goes nuts in week 15 or 16, it'll be a lot easier for you to advance. You're going to have that guy. No one else maybe not no one else, but not a lot of people in your pod are even going to have him. And I think that makes it really worth taking on a little bit of risk. The other thing is, I don't think JCM is really a zero risk at this point. He's not going to get cut. There's no way he clears waivers. He's literally been the talk of a camp. The Texans would probably they might be willing to trade a 6th for him at this point. So I'm not going to get cut. So I think you don't have to worry about that. And then, yeah, every rookie comes with some zero risk, and we don't know how good they are. But I feel pretty confident that he's good enough to kind of mix in throughout the year at the very least. You know, and especially down the stretch. So yeah, maybe he doesn't become what we're dreaming he can become, but these are the types of profiles that we want to be chasing up, because you get that ability to show up to a pod and you're one of 2 teams that has this guy. That's a huge advantage.
So 14th round, even 15th round. I mean, if this is that time of year, why wait?
I take him in the 15th.
Yeah. I moved him, I think, up to 168 or something like that in my rankings.
Okay, I got to get him higher.
We raised him again this morning.
Because it's just like, also, there's just kind of
raised
this.
him last night, but I'm going to raise him again right now.
There's this phenomenon happening in rankings where there are so many guys who we've held priors about, or just like, oh, this guy's just been going here since May. And there's nothing, I don't know, like Adam Thielen has just been like the wide receiver 70 since January, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Adam Thielen is like actually getting a little bit of negative pressure from Renfro. And is just like a 35-year-old wide. Like, I can just start to change my priors. I don't have to just take this guy because he's been going there. Not that I hate Adam Thielen. That was just an example.
I have this lot of wide receivers in my rankings. That's like Adam Thielen, Michael Wilson, Darius Slayton, De'Ami Brown, Alec Pierce, Jalen McMillan, Wan'Dale Robinson. And it's like behind that is where I've kind of had like the fun speculative. I've just gotta start pushing all of these fun people.
Oh, the fun speculatives move up on good news now. Like that's the Rashard Smith. I've moved up some, but I mean, I'm taking JCM over Smith now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because what we're thinking, like before, you're like, hey, what if this guy wins me a week? Like that third quarterback, like the Aaron Rodgers third quarterback thing is like, well, maybe he randomly spikes for a week, or De'Ami Brown, like Michael Wilson, these guys could catch a touchdown the right week. But what a guy like JCM or Smith or some of these other backs who are starting to make noise, they could just like be the guy you need. Like the correct answer in it pretty much past the 12th round was, I hope you took this guy because he was the Kyron, So
yeah,
a Kyron is a pretty big hit. We probably don't get a Kyron, but like, we do pretty regularly get someone who is clearly the late round guy that you need. More in maybe like a last year Chuba type of mold, or last year Jordan Mason even. Obviously a Bucky.
Those are the better comps. Those are the
more realistic comps, like a Jordan Mason type of thing. But hey, like that was awesome. If you had Jordan Mason last year, that was really helpful. So
if only for me, Chris Rodriguez had accomplished this a year ago in that same backfield.
All right. I just moved up to 166, by the way, for the people.
Davis, is there anything on Rice that's worth acting on? I mean, what are we just doing here? Assuming no suspension news yet. So
I mean, I think it is. I wonder if it is maybe just people signing up or drafting their first teams and not realizing that Rice is going to be suspended.
There has not been a dip. I mean, really, from the beginning of camp and the news right before camp started, it's not like you're seeing him slide to a point where you'd want to take him, because of what you've done already.
I have him ranked one spot after George Pickens. So I think I have him ranked 45, 46, which just means I'm not getting a ton of Rashee Rice right now, but that's fine because I'm getting a lot of Xavier Worthy right now.
So for the ship chasing weekend, we were doing some contests where, we're drafting against each other, and, these are obviously like just smaller leagues. They're very time boxed. They're 1 day time boxed. And I was actually taking a decent amount of Rice. Because it was like, I think a lot of the reason I'm not taking Rice in BBM is I'm pretty confident he is going to fall in the suspension. And I had a lot before, and I think I'm just going to get 5th round Rice really regularly later. So I'm only taking when he falls to the 5th, really, or sometimes at the 4 or 5 turn. And actually, often if I'm like behind at receiver, I'm more likely to take Rice because it's like, all right, he's going to be a stud when he gets back. Is a pretty clear bet. And it's not like he's going to get suspended forever. Like he'll play at some point. And it's nice to be able to get that upside on the team when you need receiver points. But yeah, I mean, I think in a time box stuff, like some of these smaller tournaments, I think I might take a little bit more Rice than I have been with that same thinking that If it's the fall that I'm really waiting for, then obviously, in a Husky too, that doesn't really matter.
Hardcore agree with that. He's much more attractive in any kind of time box contest. Why by the way is Xavier Worthy not rising up? Is Jacob's corner of the internet just that powerful?
No, I draft Xavier Worthy now. I mean, I never really was not drafting Xavier Worthy, but I've been drafting a ton of him post Rice stuff, and I'm surprised that he's not moving up more. Let me check. I bet I have more Worthy than Rice now. I do. I have 17% Xavier Worthy. So I don't know why he's not moving up. It's not me.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Not being too proud to admit you were doing the wrong thing before.
Well, I wasn't
quite admit
but
that.
Then the circumstances change.
He didn't admit that.
And I will not admit that, but the circumstances change.
Well, okay, good for you for allowing yourself to be bailed out by circumstance. Some people would have stuck their nose up in the air and said, "No, dude, it was always Jalen Royals." Or
some people are doing it right now. I'm not. I have him ranked at 32 overall.
I think
I'm drafting Worthy too.
I was going to say, I think that might be my exact ranking. By the way, just I was making fun of myself there because I am now fairly aggressively drafting Jalen Royals. I have psyoped myself.
I'm shocked by that.
I've psyoped myself. Okay, hear me out, and you guys tell me how far off base you think I am. Reed, it's winding down, man. I mean, he doesn't know how many years he has left as a coach. Like, not that many.
This is your third round pick, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't know how many years he has left on this planet, but he's your starting center.
No. This is about Royals. This is about Royals.
No, but it's also about Andy Reid, who you absolutely.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back. I'm saying this is about your coach.
You're literally saying this guy's like 2 years
process.
from the grave, and yet you think he's going to be like moving guys in the middle of the offensive line.
Well, I mean, and I retain correct. I retain that information. Obviously, the decision they're going to have to make the first couple games of the season is who do we play, Jalen Royals or Juju Smith-Schuster? And I wonder if they just say, you know what, man, just enough of this. Enough of forcing Patrick Mahomes to be Gardner Minshew. Enough. If we are going to lose some regular season games, whatever, we're going to lose some regular season games or we're going to have some growing pains. But, like, can we just not spend one of the final years of Mahomes' prime, like physical prime, throwing screen passes to Juju Smith-Schuster? Can we just score some points? Can we just push the ball? Can we just get some young guys on the field?
They need to score early. I mean, it's Brazil and the Chargers, then it's Philadelphia, Giants, Baltimore and Detroit, Washington are all in that top half of the schedule for them. So they might need
I know the answer is probably like it's just going to be Juju and Hollywood and Kareem Hunt, and they're just going to score 22.3 points per game, and they're going to win easily. Mahomes wriggles his way out of that jam yet again. But I don't know, man. Royals is obviously better than Juju Smith-Schuster in creating any kind of value in and of himself, but Juju knows where to be on the field, I guess.
I'm seeing some breaking news here that Andy Reid actually has a calf strain. Does that change anything? I don't know. I tend to think, just given the way we've seen it the last couple of years, and that they know they can do that, they know they can be boring and just score 22 points and win. Then, were they Icarus though? But were they for the end of the season? Yeah, but this is just for the beginning while Rice is out, and like Juju, I think is like I don't know if he's officially like the captain or whatever, but they keep talking about how he's the leader of the wide receiver room. That he's the dude in that room.
Well, he's the only one who's old. Him and Hollywood are the only ones who are older than 23.
Right, but I don't know. I mean, it seems. And the other thing is, what are they trying to do? They're trying to replace Rashee Rice. Like that is
they called Jalen Royals a Rashee Rice clone. That is straight from Brett Veach. He said that.
Okay, all right. Maybe I need to open my third eye.
Now he could just be lying, right? There's nothing better than lying in the preseason. So
Mark Andrews,
like if we knew Rice was going to be out for the end of the season somehow, let's say he like planned a trip and he's just going to take off,
Mhm.
then I would have a completely different tune. It's just that it's because it's the early part of the season. Like, why wouldn't they just use the vet who they know they can get it done?
We'll
I
see.
mean, I'm sure that the Jalen Royals is going to run, 22% of the routes or whatever. But what if he doesn't? I did bet on Jalen Royals 250-1 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh
my God.
The upside, I think, is
That's not nearly
somehow.
My man.
I'm not sure he's 1,000-1.
Yeah. Well, that's
Let's go, Chiefs.
More money has been spent on worse bets. So.
That's true.
Name one.
I do think the real path is you hope that Royals has like 30% routes early, looks good, and then he can springboard that into keeping a portion of the role or a portion of the routes when Rice comes back, and then maybe he displaces Hollywood at the end of the season. I think that's the path, is that he has to just eventually beat out Hollywood. But I think the more likely path is, Juju just plays.
Well, by the way,
Rice
sneaky bad update on Hollywood. Andy Reid said this the other day. No, he said, well, eye of the beholder. He said that Hollywood avoided surgery, which is better than having surgery on an ankle injury, but it's a more severe ankle injury than I thought. Like, this was not like, he sprained his ankle, but he'll be back. So I moved Hollywood down in my rankings. I was taking him a little bit before. I'm done taking him now.
Okay, I should move that down. I didn't
I might move him down as well, although we don't really take him. Nick pointing out, by the way, on FanDuel, Royals was 265-1. If you wanted to shop around a little bit there,
that's what I got it on. I got it on FanDuel at 250, and then actually, the guy who in Ship Chasing when we did it last Thursday, who said I went on a date with a girl who knew who Brevin Jordan was. He sent me a DM on Discord and said, "Hey, Jalen Royals is 250-1 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year on FanDuel. I just bet it, and I said, you're a man after my own heart. Let me bet that as well." And then
thank you for the content.
It was locked. There was just, you couldn't bet it. There was just a little lock next to it on FanDuel for like the next 3 hours, but it's still at the same price right now. I just looked.
They reviewed it and then they were like, "Yeah, we can unlock this."
They reviewed it and they were like, "Actually, let's just let these absolute idiots
have at it." Davis, I read you this morning on Isaiah Likely, and I was taken by how I guess I want to say pessimistic you sound about him season long. I mean, just whether he'll be back from the surgery, right? In this case. So Andrews and Likely for you guys.
I mean, how many times does a guy have a literal foot operation before the beginning of the season, and then at the end of the year, you're like, "Oh yeah, dude, that was fine." That was much ado about nothing. That he had a literal surgery on his foot 30 days before the NFL season.
Do we know or care about what kind of surgery it is? Like, this isn't a Jones fracture deal, is it?
I don't know. Let me Google it. But to me, no, I don't really care what it is. I just,
because that would scare me.
I've not heard the word Liz Frank yet, so that's encouraging.
Good. The procedure was to stabilize his foot. It was to repair a small fracture in his foot. The current expectation is a 6 to 8 week recovery timeline. That, to me, just sounds super bearish. Just to me, that sounds bad.
Well, it's not good.
Yeah. I also think the context of Likely, right, is that you need him to play more than last year.
And so more than Andrews.
More than Andrews. And so what's the bet? The bet is that this is a young ascending player who actually forces the team to change their plans a little bit and does not just get back to last year's status quo, but actually builds on it. And so I think that's a more difficult bet to make when the guy's hurt. It'd be like if he was locked in, if this was Trey McBride, I wouldn't be as concerned because I know what the plan is for Trey McBride. Like, he's going to be the dude. I would obviously be concerned, but it would, his ability to get out on the field as much as we want him to, I think really depends on him being all the way back, which might not be for, even after a few more weeks. It might be until midseason that he's like at the point where he was what he would have been had he not got hurt.
They don't need him to play full time. I mean, they essentially play. It's really weird. They're like the only team I can think of that has 2 tight ends that we're aware of that both play the same role. Like usually you have like the Knox, Kincaid, who play kind of complementary roles that aren't necessarily impacting each other as much as we might think. But the Ravens, like they have Kolar, who is their Y tight end. They have Ricard, who's like an H-back, but also will play affixed to the line. And then Andrews and Likely are both move tight ends. So they mix and match. And they'll have heavy personnel packages with both Kolar and Ricard. But they'll also do sort of their standard 12 personnel package with one of Kolar and Ricard and one of Andrews or Likely. They'll do their 12 light with both Andrews and Likely, or they'll just have an 11 on passing downs with only one pass catching tight end. It'll be Andrews or Likely. So those snaps in 12 and the snaps in 11, they are directly competing with each other for them, and they kind of rotate.
And Likely was winning some of those. So that's a spot. That's an easy spot,
right? Like
you
Andrews
got
used to play all of them. Then last year he played still most of them, but not all of them. Like Likely was working into them, and I would guess the hope was, if you're a Likely drafter, is that becomes either 50-50 or Likely starts to play more of them over the course of the season.
Exactly.
Now it might look like Andrews was probably going to play 80-90% of them very early in the season, and Likely will have to work to get back just to what it was last year.
Yeah.
Why did we ever want Isaiah Likely over Ferguson and Kraft and those? Why did we ever move him this high?
I didn't.
In the first place?
I really didn't. I didn't take a lot of them.
I wasn't drafting him.
Yeah, I was low on both of them because I wanted to bet on Likely over Andrews, but I didn't understand the Likely price either.
I thought Likely was overpriced. I might have been wrong, by the way. I mean, they seemed pretty excited about him. There was rumors that he was going to get a pretty good contract the same day that he hurt his foot. And now obviously the contract hasn't come through. Weird. But
that's by the way, that's like another slightly bearish thing about getting him back is like, I'm not playing on a bum foot.
Right.
When I'm trying to get a contract, like what I'm going to refracture my foot.
It's a playoff team too. They can take it slow
on a 4th round rookie contract. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, totally. Yeah, so I mean, it's possible that I was too bearish before, but I've always been at the price. I was struggling a little bit to see, it's not that I couldn't pay off, but like in a lot of cases, it just does. This is just a really overpriced tight end, and if I'm taking a tight end in that range, I might not have one yet. So getting like a Ferguson or something like that is just a lot more appealing. I will take Likely now if he falls and I have Lamar, but that's about it.
Ferguson is like a no data, nothing's happened, but I'm just moving him up in my rankings because I was like, well, if I just am buying all this Cowboys passing attempt stuff, Ferguson is like sleepwalking into 750 yards between 3 to 8 touchdowns.
He got paid.
That's a thing. I mean, that's good because I mean they've hyped Brevin Spann-Ford as a and he was a good blocker last year. He was not a good receiver.
Brevin Spann-Ford is the most damn, Davis, you're so bad at this. I used to be good at this. I was trying to think of a funny blocking tight end name, and I couldn't.
Tommy Tremble.
Manhurts.
Manhurts. Yeah, he's not quite. He's not quite. He's Durham Smythe. There you go. Thank you. The most Durham Smythe ass tight end.
But Durham Smythe was a problem for Mike Gesicki. Like you can be a problem for the starting tight end if you're just so good at blocking.
Ferguson can block though. Ferguson is not like one of these like Harold Fannin types.
I just had like I was drafting a lot of Ferguson, but it was on my radar that Brevin Spann-Ford was putting together at least the early part of camp. Them paying Ferguson is obviously like their plan is for him to be their starting tight end for many years going forward, at least the next couple of years, right? So I just I think that matters. It kind of tells you that whatever that hype was really doesn't change the pecking order at all.
You have the rookies in here too, a little bit higher, but Warren and Loveland. And I might predict that Dalton Kincaid is on this list next week. because of the Shakir injury. Remember, Jacob, our conversation about Kincaid a few weeks ago that was clipped, like what has to happen? And you said, I'll tell you what has to happen. One of three things. And one is a Shakir injury. And we're there. High ankle sprain. It's not his first. You know, he's iffy for week 1 at this point. And that opens up a lot of possibilities for the Bills. As good as Shakir is,
I was going to say, luckily they have 19 slot wide receivers. So
they're all slot receivers.
All good. Yeah.
But I don't think they'll move Coleman. I think they want to establish Coleman for what they drafted him to be. And then you have Curtis Samuel.
Wide receivers.
Nope. You have Curtis Samuel, who has a hamstring thing of his own right now, and that's sort of an annual deal, it appears to be. And then Elijah Moore, who they just are sort of taking on a lark. So I think Kincaid will be the one that's the most hyped here going forward, and no Shakir for the entire preseason at least.
I have been drafting Josh Palmer, which is
Palmer had he was banged up, wasn't he?
Not for much.
I think he's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything on
the
Palmer.
The thing about Palmer is there's absolutely no story you can tell yourself that he is the guy you needed to have. He has this breakout potential. Like it's just not happening. It's kind of waving the white flag and just being like, well, I don't know, someone's got to freaking play.
He was working. Palmer's working through a groin injury, but I think he was back at practice yesterday.
I was on Hayden's show, and it was not on the show sheet, and he stuck me with an impromptu, who's the best pick on the Bills. And I had to think through all of the names of Bills I'm not clicking. And then I was like, I think Josh Palmer's the best pick on the Bills. And I immediately was saddened that I'd put that
it's
on the
Allen.
internet. But yeah, it is Allen. But it was like skill player was the question. But yeah,
no, dude,
Palmer
it's Curtis Samuel.
Palmer I have 7% of, so
I think it's Kincaid now, in part because you get the knee is still a red flag stuff. He missed one day of practice with knee soreness and came back the next day. But I think that is in people's minds. He does, people are talking about how he's got a lava lamp in his knee, ridiculous shit like that.
People are talking about that.
Someone's saying that. I don't remember who said it.
We don't know who's. We're all looking for the guy who did this. But yeah, I mean, he seems like, as far as things go for the Bills right now, pretty healthy, all things considered. And yeah, like Dawson Knox hasn't played at all. He's missing like all of camp right now. I don't know when he's going to be back. Like that's good, and Shakir being hurt. I mean, those are the exact type of targets that he is looking to consolidate. So I think Kincaid's a pretty solid pick. There always was some upside that he, in his third year, took a step, and now you still get that upside, but you probably get, some better games early part of the season while Shakir gets back.
Time to ramp up by 2%.
I still don't think he's as good of a slot receiver as Curtis Samuel or Elijah Moore, and I think he's a worse blocking tight end than Jackson Hawes, so it just doesn't even matter to me.
Jackson Hawes out of Yale.
I think he's just a fundamentally useless NFL player.
I don't think he's been bad enough for you to say that. I think his efficiency has been fine.
Fundamentally useless. That I'm like the Kincaid hater, and even I think that's a bit.
That feels like a bias relative to where we were drafting him and the hype around him.
Who was drafting him?
He was going in the 5th round last year.
Jacob, you and I took Dalton Kincaid on our.
But you had to argue that
I had him on a main event team in which I was outvoted by Ron Stewart and Liam Murphy.
Oh,
it was not by my will.
So bearish, dude. Getting a player that Ron and Liam want you to take is so brutal.
I'm thinking that maybe that's
possible that my bias is slightly tied to that decision.
I feel like I've got a friend who the fight is not going to happen. I've held you back successfully, but I'm like, come on. It's cool, man. Like, it's cool. Let's go back. Let's hang out. You're still fired up like this. The 5th round.
You might see Ray Davis on this list next week too.
I was gonna say Ray Davis is my answer for the best Bills player to draft. He's got like so many outs.
Nick says Knox was back, so that's not great. I'm gonna look into that.
I just think with Ray Davis too, like I guess it's weird because I think I'm like out on like every Bill except for Palmer, which I shouldn't be because they're gonna score a lot of points, so someone's gonna hit. But my issue with Davis,
at this price, Kincaid can hit
people.
Well,
yeah, I just would rather take Goddard every single time.
I was taking Goddard every single time, but I think that's bad. Like, things have opened up. Like, how good is Goddard? Goddard's not amazing. He's
quite good. He had like over 2 yards per route run last year.
He's way worse than AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, he's clearly the third best.
If one of them gets hurt, he's like a top 5 tight end.
They'll throw more.
Yeah, he's in the mix, but like they're not throwing. if one of those guys gets hurt, they're less likely to throw. They're not going to lean on Dallas Goedert over Saquon Barkley.
Jacob, what on Davis?
I like that he plays snaps. My issue with Ray Davis, it's not a massive issue, but it's look. I've seen some people say they think he's one of the best handcuffs in the whole league, and I just struggle with that a little bit because I think that there's other guys who, if the starter goes down, will play every snap.
Yeah,
like if Bijan Robinson goes down, Tyler Algier will play like a 93% snap rate the next week. Can anyone name the Falcons RB3?
Carlos Washington.
I'll believe you. I don't even know if that's a real person.
With a K. Carlos with a K.
That's incredible. I've never even heard of Carlos Washington.
Give me the slappy seal, brother.
All right.
Seriously.
So
Ivory Ellison was going to be my guess.
Carlos Washington is not a threat to Tyler Algier's contingent workload. If James Cook gets hurt, Ray Davis will be awesome and he'll be pumped to start him. But like you're still gonna see Ty Johnson on all.
Ray Davis was awesome in the game that James Cook missed last year. I
think that's what's affecting. I think that's what's affecting people. Like it matters, but
it should.
It was one good play. It was one good play. He was fine. It was one play that he broke for like half his yards in that game, if I remember right.
That counts.
It counts. But he's not going to do that.
One good play merchant is how we got 10th round Chase Brown last year.
I don't see Davis
but Zach Moss is no longer on the Bills. James, I don't know. I like Ray Davis. I just struggle when he gets it still doesn't make any sense to me that he's ahead of like Tyler Algier. I'll take him because I want access.
Well, he goes ahead of Tyler Algier because James Cook, for whatever reason, has been limited like both ways by the Bills. The Bills have never let the governor off of James Cook. So there's I think a semi-rational thing happening in the market where they're saying there is meat on the bone, particularly in best ball when you don't have to decide what week he might score a touchdown. Like he could score 6 touchdowns and have 2 good spike weeks in a season where James Cook returns running back 15 value.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is part of it, is that Davis can kind of take on some of the goal line role from James Cook. And, we saw last year they can score running back touchdowns, actually. So
they gave no. James Cook had 4 touchdowns his first 2 NFL seasons. Like that, it could just totally revert.
Rushing, right?
Yes, it could completely revert. It would not be surprising.
Totally.
I don't know what to do. I mean, I think eventually they're going to rein in Allen's rushing, but I doubt we're there yet. They're still chasing their championship. He has more rushing touchdowns in his career already than Thurman Thomas and O.J. Simpson here. He's got the franchise record, 67. He'll get to 100. And so I don't think it's about to happen, but I don't want to bet on Cook for his goal line stuff after last year either, or Davis. They're such an enigma, the Bills. But you could see both those names on this list next week because Cook is, what did he do? He threatened to hold out. He bluffed, and he hung out here for a week and a half, and then he started his holdout or hold in, as they say now. And I feel like he had to do something. I've been saying it the whole time. Like, you can't just do all that talking and then show up and, bend over, if you will. So this is his move, and I think it lasts.
There was a quote by Joe Brady at the end of July where they're talking about kind of the roles. And he said, a guy like James Cook not playing on 3rd down last year doesn't have anything to do with his ability in the pass game or him not being able to handle pass protection.
Sure.
Some of it is that we have other guys like Ty Johnson who did a great job in protection. So why have James Cook take a couple more blows in protection when Ty can handle it? And Ty's still there. So I was like, I don't know, it jumped out to me because they're like, James Cook really wants to play on 3rd downs, but nah.
You want to talk about fundamentally useless? It's every Joe Brady quote.
Okay.
But it's not. I mean, that came true.
Well, I mean, the platitudes toward Cook in terms of his blocking or 3rd down play, it's just there's no reason for that other than the fact that
I'm saying what came true is the Ty Johnson was going to be playing and you're going to like it.
Sure. That's right. And Allen called him the best 3rd down back in the league.
This is from this July.
It's not going away.
This is him saying Ty Johnson is our 3rd down back, is how I took it.
Yeah.
The platitudes of he's a great pass protector and there's no reason not to play him. It's not the part that jumped out to me. The part that jumped out to me is they're like, we have Ty Johnson in that role, and that's not going to change.
No, that's right, but that's already been demonstrated that they're going to do that. So that was already established, and Allen has talked about it too. I never thought that was going to change.
Cook is an ascending young player. You know, we could talk ourselves into him taking on more of a third down role. You know, if the OC wasn't like, yeah, I'm not doing that. You know, so
right.
He's actually descending. He's actually descending at this point.
Yeah, he might.
The issue with Ty Johnson is really good at it. Like, I actually think it's rational. Like, Ty Johnson's great at that stuff. He's a good pass blocker. He was like converting these high ADOT throws, and he's an annoying person to have on your team if you're a running back.
Ty Johnson is a good player. Ty Johnson is a good player, which complicates it a little bit. We've got some breaking news that is going to change strategy for almost no one other than me, which is that Mason Taylor has a high ankle sprain.
I already deleted him off the ranks.
I was gonna say literally,
it's bad.
Literally off my board. And I really liked him, and that's going to be bad for my teams that already exist. But you know, don't compound that issue, and also don't compound that issue. I'm looking at you, legendaryupsiderankings.com/Corain. Don't compound that issue by taking too much Josh Reynolds either.
Oh, Josh Reynolds is who I was going to take too much of. Harold,
I get
is who I'm going to take too much of.
I'm actually done. I'm actually done fighting that one with you.
Are you done? Why is that, Davis? It's because fans going to crush.
Because Deontay Johnson came in training camp fat, which it's just like, if you're going to be Deontay Johnson, how dare you show up to your literal last chance fat?
Like, there's only like so many times, like. There's always going to be a counter argument against like what you're proposing is going to happen. And when the counter argument is, nah, dude, Deontay Johnson, you know, you're in a good spot. Like that's one of the best places to be.
The counter argument for Fannin is like, I don't know, third round rookie tight ends who are behind an incredibly good, like David Njoku is just
awesome.
Like, but he's not competing with Njoku. He's not competing with Njoku.
This is well-worn territory. Crane and I have had this argument 17 times, and we don't need to have it anymore.
Well,
I think Crane is going to be proven correct by history here. He's on the right side of history, and I'm happy to tip my cap to him.
How much do you take Fannin on underdog?
I take him
more than I don't take him a non-stop or anything, right now.
But he's
like,
in the
like double digits.
Let me check.
It's probably not double digits because decent amount of those guys go under.
I'm fired up to take him like on FFPC stuff, and I'm pumped. I don't really do much DraftKings until very, very late, but I will definitely take a lot of him on the 20-round DraftKings. I can't really get there on underdog.
Okay,
I'm at 9%. 9%.
Not as much as I thought. I have 2%, but I have 648 teams. So like the raw amount of teams that is.
But not 9%'s like a 15-16%er for not, for guys who go undrafted. Like, you're not expected to draft 8% Harold Fannin because he doesn't get drafted in every draft. So
yeah,
it's a little higher than it seems. But the types of builds that I take him on is if I have like Hunter Henry and Zach Ertz, I take Harold Fannin, a decent amount there because I'm like, give me some juice here. I need some end of season upside.
I take another rookie tight end who's behind blocking tight ends. I take Arondé Gadsden.
Oh, I take a third rookie tight end. I take Terrence Ferguson.
Gadsden.
I'm not too hip to Terrence Ferguson because he of all these guys, he has the most significant roadblock ahead of him.
I refuse to acknowledge Tyler Higbee as significant.
I know he's very much an inconvenient truth for the slaps.
Mason Taylor.
To me, Tyler Higbee does not exist.
I'm also very
Sean McVay.
I'm also very familiar with Terrence Ferguson's work, and I actually just don't think he is a particularly good player.
He's not it. Mason Taylor is a real blow. I mean, all these Fields teams, we're all drafting tons of Fields, and just sitting there in the 16th round.
I know
Mason Taylor is bad for me.
I'm at 17% on him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Joey B said he's a Jets fan, but he was still terrified because he thought we meant Jonathan Taylor. So even as a Jets fan, relief that it was.
Also, by the way,
it could be worse.
I'm only
Tyrod Taylor injured too.
So I dodged that bullet.
While we're on Taylor's, Tyrod Taylor knee injury at the same press.
Someone just mentioned that Breece Hall was helped off by trainers, so that's not great either.
What?
No.
Breece Hall was fake.
He went and he came back. No,
that was before
we started.
Fake.
Okay. It's not fake. It's just no longer real because he went He left practice with trainers, and then he returned to practice later on.
Now I've asked the chat to let's wait until we get some news. We don't need this. Isn't the Shipcast? We don't need
you are the one putting the chat on.
Well,
it's in
the chat. Okay,
they could
let's wait
or not
until a
wait.
resolution. High ankle sprain. Great. We want to hear about that. That's a diagnosis. Okay.
Yeah, we had Davis for that. Davis
guy
broke
drinking Gatorade for a second. Not as important.
I've already updated the sidekick without Mason Taylor in it.
Oh, terrible. Fallers, ready?
Mason Taylor.
Let's do it.
Mason
Taylor.
James Cook.
Khalil Shakir. Wait till next week. Quinshon Judkins, Joe Mixon, Marshawn Lloyd. Yikes. Likely. Jauan Jennings, Najee Harris, Terry McLaurin, Darren Waller, Travis Etienne. Most interesting name. Jennings, I think, is the most interesting name here for me.
I was gonna say I'm dipparino slurping on Jennings.
You are.
Did you guys hear that Kyle Shanahan quote? Because that was real bullish for Jennings, in my opinion.
Yeah, let me read it in its entirety so that I don't get it wrong.
I'm almost certain I haven't memorized, but you go
okay.
for it.
Kyle Shanahan was asked about Jennings' absence, if it's definitely health related, not business related, and said, quote, "You could ask him that, but he tells me it's his calf. Got to be delicate with those calves," which is absolutely, I signed a document saying that I'm mad, and now I've escalated it to the second tier of being angry, which is now I would like to be compensated for my time, not my calf is injured.
It's now I signed the document saying that I injured my calf.
Yes. Now I officially signed the official document.
Sign here if your calf is sore.
Sign here if your calf is sore. Yeah. I do not think this is a serious injury.
Yeah, I don't know. I read it a little differently because it's Shanahan and he's so kind of like, yeah, man, I don't know. Like we all might die tomorrow. Like he's like, yeah, I get like it could. You have to talk to Jauan if you want to know if this is him holding in. He tells me it's his calf. We're treating it like it's his calf. Calf injuries are serious or whatever. He technically re-injured it. So yeah, like maybe he doesn't fully believe.
Shit posting phrase though.
Yeah, he's definitely trolling a little bit, but that doesn't mean that
we could all be be dead tomorrow if we don't take care of our calves.
So he's talking about cows.
He's always kind of got that kind of trolly attitude a little bit. So I just don't know if I kind of threw it out. Like I'm not sure. Yes, he's sort of hinting that maybe he's holding in, but it also could be him just being pissed off a guy's not out there.
Karain, this is not a hint. This is not a hint. He is hinting. Telling us. No, it's not a hint. He's telling us. He's saying he's not available because he's holding out. He's
implying. He's implying. He didn't come right out and say it.
Because of the implication.
Well, you can't say it because of the implication.
Yeah, you can't say it.
Also, the re-aggravation.
You're saying that word a lot. What are you?
Yeah.
Like, even if you just expand, right, the re-aggravation, it's like, yeah, earlier he had a calf issue, and then we thought we were back from that calf issue, but it seems like he's re-aggravated that calf issue, and we expect it to be cleared up in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I think
I respect that read. It didn't
on this.
I might need to go watch it. It might be a watcher for me because I could see how you'd read it that way for sure.
I think you're being a little obtuse, Karain. I think it's very evident what he's saying.
Look, Davis, if he's not with you, go ahead and keep slurping. Just take advantage of the extra slurp.
Yeah, put him down, leg up.
Well, it's actually really interesting what has happened, which is that Jennings is like pretty key if you are a wide receiver heavy drafter because you're getting into that range, and most of the picks there that you like are running backs. So you're getting RJ Harvey there, Trevion Henderson there. So if you decide that Jennings is a tier down, you move him into the Pearsall, Golden, Reed tier, then you are like, it kind of changes the texture of the board if you are not wanting to take Jennings there. And I am happy because my prior would be he signed the document saying his calf is hurt, not that the calf is actually injured.
Well, I agree with you on the read, but I guess I still see it as so clustered that I still actually moved him down like a lot because it was once I started moving him down behind a couple of names, then it was like, well, why wouldn't I move him down? Like, to me, it's like I almost either have to not move him down at all or I have to move him down behind like 15 names because they're like kind of all the same there to me.
Jacoby Myers or Jennings?
Maybe I'll move him back up, but I have him in the
Jennings.
mid-7th right now. I have him right behind Jacoby Myers.
Judy?
I have him behind
Jennings.
Judy.
Jaden Reed?
Yeah, I would take Jennings at that point. I'm trying to push him to the 7th.
Jaden Reed
Jaden Reed
got the just coffined, just stuck in a freaking
Yeah.
sarcophagus at Packers family night. I mean, if there was any hope that he was going to have this newfangled role, I think it is. Jaden Reed is who we thought he
wasn't he
was.
not going to play, and then he did play, and so then maybe we shouldn't read into all that much, or am I just coat posting? At this point?
You are coat posting right
Sounds
now.
like some
You're
grade A
Kyle
coat.
Dvorak posting right
All right.
now.
Okay.
Because this is good. We're 90 minutes into the show. I can do a conspiracy theory here. So
Finally.
I like checking the time before
I've
doing
been
it.
sitting here waiting.
All right, I'm moving
but
back.
as the comments are telling me that I'm reading way too much into Family Night. Well, I wish I would have read way too much into Family Night last year when Dontavian Wicks played 4 snaps. Malik Heath played the second most snaps of any wide receiver and played them all on the boundary. Like he played all outside. And I'm wondering, and I need you guys to shut this down immediately so it doesn't hinder me. Dontavian Wicks did not play on Family Night. Because he was injured. I'm wondering if Malik Heath was the Dontavian Wicks placeholder, and there actually is more of a boundary role for one Mr. Slappy Seal himself.
Oh my God, Davis.
Okay, Davis, you accused me of coat posting, and then you just did that.
He did.
I'm coping.
I'm coping.
Davis, I'm
I'm
more
wrong
worried
for
about
everything.
your eyesight than Najee Harris is at this point. You have gone blind.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth. I don't actually think that's true. I think it's I don't know. I believe that like 4% or whatever. But I do actually believe that Jaden Reed is still a fairly good mid-7th, early 8th round best ball fantasy football pick. But I think that to draft Jaden Reed over Matthew Golden is now just looking at reality in the face.
Yeah,
and saying,
we changed that. That was one of the changes yesterday. The Golden is
See, like
now.
I
firmly
made that
ahead.
same change, and I have Golden ahead, but I still get aggravated hearing it from other people, even though I now agree.
Even though you now that's you got to come up with a name for that. That's the like
kind
the
of the-
thing
it's
you
kind of
actually
the
agree on, but you
whole-
don't want to hear it.
kind of the whole exercise of best ball.
It's because, like, in my heart, if you gave me true serum, who's going to score more points this year, I 100% would still say Jaden Reed. But I just don't really have any evidence to support that assertion. Other than I
Well,
just think he's
Jaden
vastly better
Reed
at
will
football.
definitely have 2 really good games at some point, like 2 like 30+ pointers. But he also I believe the final 8 weeks of the season last year, Jaden Reed had 190 yards. I got that from a Leone tweet. That might be off by like a couple yards here or there.
I
But
would believe
he basically like did not exist.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up so I can actually get the correct amount of yards so that I don't shortchange him, because I'm gonna guess that it is not very many. I mean, Jaden Reed didn't even have that many yards total last year.
Well, I did want to mention that in the Family Night stuff, as Jacob pointed out, he wasn't going to play, and he did play. Savion Williams got 4 snaps, and it's such a natural 1-for-1 replacement for Reed stuff that I actually wonder if we should give those to Jaden Reed.
And they were in the slot.
They were out wide. Don't worry about that. In fact, that's actually bullish because it means Reed is going to play out
so
wide.
Jaden Reed from week.
We're
11
firmly in the
to
Jaden
week
Weeds
18.
right now.
We are in the Jaden Weed.
2 for 23, 3 for 26, 3 for 24, 0 for 0, 5 for 34, 3 for 76, 1 for 6, 2 for 48 in the back half of last season. So,
Okay, but he was still, what was he in half PPR points per game? I'm willing to bet it was
Pretty
considerably
good.
higher than his current ADP.
I would not take that bet because I'm sure you're right.
Like, I think people in the chat are like, are we just hoping for a trade to bail us out? Like, no. I don't really understand the big issue. He's currently going at the end of round 7. Is he going to play in 12 personnel? Probably not. I don't think anyone actually thinks there's a threat to his 11 personnel.
He's a totally cromulent pick where he goes.
Like,
he just is worse than Golden.
But like Golden might just suck. Golden does fucking suck. Like I drafted him.
All right,
Gonna have like
all right.
I don't know, man.
I gave him.
Sucks.
Look, I understand the range of outcomes. Okay, I like can intellectually understand why Matthew Golden's a good pick, and I do it. But I don't actually think he's any good. Like Jaden Reed is going to be fine. He's going next to Josh Downs, who also plays on every 11 personnel snap.
He's co-posting.
You can like. You can understand why someone could not suck and draft accordingly, but can you make me in my heart believe that Matthew Golden doesn't suck? No, you cannot. I'll need to see that.
You're just gonna have to watch ball.
I just think
I'll watch it with an 11% exposure.
They took him in the first round. They're like, all right, dude, you're gonna be our number 1 outside receiver. Here's all the stuff. It's on your plate, and he seems like he's doing it. It's working out pretty well. They seem
Matthew
happy.
Matthew Golden ran too quickly for Jacob, and I think it's as simple as that. Now let's do something.
What if you earned a target in a real game?
Don't leave the Packers.
I have 8%.
It's Quinn Ewers, man. We can't take anything. Quinn Ewers is a wide receiver destroyer. Xavier Worthy. No,
AD Mitchell,
good.
Jordan Whittington.
Look, like you can say a lot of things about Xavier Worthy, but Xavier Worthy earned targets from QuinnEwers.
So did Matthew Golden once they decided.
Did he catch them?
That way,
all the deep targets fell to the earth.
No, he did not. And I'll tell you what, I'm not yet convinced that Xavier Worthy is good, but I'm somehow.
Well, that's true too. He also might not be.
All right, I'm sick of you.
But look, if I'm willing to draft Xavier Worthy, who I think sucks in round 3, who am I not to draft Matthew Golden, who I think sucks in round 6?
There you go.
Where are you guys taking Judkins now? Are you taking him at all?
140s.
Yeah, 140s is where I start thinking about it, but it's so dark. Like ground only running back on the likely worst team in football, who 30 days away from the start of the season is not an employee of the team.
I don't think he's ground only is one thing. I mean, he's literally watched him in the national championship game, running rounds and catching a touchdown. So I don't think he's ground only.
Didn't Henderson score the touchdown? The receiving touchdown.
Judkins did.
Okay.
The long one.
The long one.
It was like over the middle. It was not a check down type of thing. But his receiving profile isn't ideal, but he shared a backfield with Henderson and still got used some as a receiver. I think he could be like, he can be out there. You can kind of check down to him. He can be Josh Jacobs-y, in that way.
he could be Jacobs. I'm fine with that. I just think that Ford is probably better at that than he is right now.
Probably, but it's more like he's probably not playing a ton of like true passing down situation, like the long down and distance stuff. I wouldn't expect him to be the guy, but can you check down to him on second down? Like absolutely you can. So I don't think he's pure 2 down or pure rushing in that way. And then I think he's a really talented runner. So and he's a bigger dude. Makes sense for him to be the goal line guy. They clearly drafted him to be a huge part of their offense. Things have changed a lot, and who knows? But when you get down into that range, you just start to get to really speculative running back guys anyway. And it's like, hey, if this dude plays 6 games at the end of the year, I think I win this bet at this point. That's where I start thinking that. Obviously, it's like difficult to know the odds of anything in this situation. But that's why I take him there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where do I have him ranked? I have him 134. So I guess in theory, I would take him in the 140s. It's just that often like he'll be there. And then there's like some other person I have ranked even ahead of him, even when he falls. So I don't know if I've clicked him yet. But in theory, 130s, 140s, I think it's fine. But it's tough to find a lot to like on that situation at the moment, but I think he'll just keep falling, right? So he'll probably get into around where we would draft him within a week or two, unless something good happens.
I see him there, and I take him some in the 140s. Like he's there.
You guys dipparino slurping on 4th round McLaurin?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Late fourth
I
round
am.
McLaurin, I'm definitely dipparino slurping.
I'm using it to get back because I was not taking him at all in the third round, so I'm kind of using it to get back to
Catch up.
to the.
My
field.
bet has always been that'll take a long time, but they will not possibly go into the season without him, at least for more than a couple of weeks. So
no, there's no way.
I've drafted him once or twice. I don't know if I'm as excited to slurp as you guys, but I've taken him a couple times.
He
All right.
seems fine.
Man, Mason Taylor is bad. I'm still stuck.
No,
on that.
it's really bad. It's so unfortunate.
Hate to hear it.
Because he was especially in early drafts when I was just like, dude, the Jets don't have anything.
And he was good. They were loving him.
Yeah, they were loving him.
And Fields, who maybe has not been that good, independently, but there was something to like there. That's a bad injury. And Tyrod Taylor, I don't know. We're not obviously drafting him, but that could be the kind of thing where if he has a knee injury that takes him into the season, he ends up getting IR'd. And
all right,
somebody else.
Let's see amongst our panels. I don't have it pulled up yet. Can any of us name the Jets quarterback 3?
Oh my god.
Well, the one guy retired.
The one
Travis-
Not Tim Boyle.
retired. It's not. It's
Retired.
not. Tim Boyle is on another team.
Nope.
I'm gonna guess
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater just signed with the Buccaneers this morning.
I'll just guess David Blow for the laughs.
It's Adrian Martinez. UFL absolute stud. And
Did he play
Brady
Nebraska?
He did play.
Sounds right.
And at my college, Kansas State University. And then Brady Cook from the University of Missouri is the quarterback 4. A truly terrible quarterback who I can't even believe is getting training camp. It's now just really bad. Can't even believe he's taking up quarterback 4 reps. If Adrian Martinez played 17 games, I do just want to see what it's like. I'm very intrigued. This dude was scoring 37 fantasy points per game in the UFL. Neither here.
Love having somebody in my life who knows fantasy points per game in the UFL. Just that's very warm.
Zach just messaged me that I am being obtuse about the Jennings quote, and that it's like your buddy who doesn't know a girl is hitting on him.
You look so good today. Well, maybe she just means my shoes.
She actually likes you. I
just don't get it.
It's like a girl is softly bullying Pat the whole night, just cozying up to him, and he's like, "Man, she was kind of mean.
This girl's a bitch."
Were there any women around on the cruise? Were there any women anywhere on that weekend? You guys just had, Pat?
Staff.
I mean, a couple. Steph Miller was there.
Steph Miller was there, and a couple wives. JB Phil brought his wife Catherine, and Chris brought his wife Sarah. So,
was there any sort of magnetic force you guys were, working with in the bars? I mean, I'm not saying anybody independently. You have married men here mostly, but was the scene sort of working for the female crowd in attendance at any of these?
There's no chance. Right?
There was one moment where we were all at it. We went to a tapas bar in Miami, and we're kind of hanging out. It's a good crew. But Catherine there, the only woman, and we all jumped in a 6-man Badge Bros brawl. There were 5 guys at the table, and every single one of us was just staring at our phone for 10 minutes. Yeah, this probably isn't the best.
That didn't really pay off in that way. Oh well. Shocking. Last call. Are we ready? So Zach tells us that this is our 20th round.
Wow. We're almost done.
We could end it, or we could take it all the way up to week 1.
Oh no, we're taking it. We're taking it all the way. Now, Pat, good. I'm worried about your quarterbacks. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it.
You're using an S, but the S
I tried to fix it.
You should be worried about his quarterback.
I tried to fix it with Dylan Gabriel, but then I had to trade him for the best pick that anyone's made so far.
We also almost gave him Richardson that 1 week when he was off, and Richardson was sitting there, and that was put to a stop. That was not allowed, but we almost did.
Yeah,
I'm worried about mine.
Mason Taylor for Jacob, so I am worried about Jacob's tight ends.
Oh no! Well, he'll be back by week 15.
Maybe.
Anybody want to go first? I'm ready.
I need to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out because I'm really weak at running back, so I'm trying to figure out if there's someone that I'm missing.
There's someone we talked about early today. You might like.
You can probably take Amari Cooper off the. Or no, never mind. That was an Adam Schurfler tweet that he retired. I just thought it was real.
Yes,
and then I forgot that it wasn't.
I'll take if I may. I'll take Renfro.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that could
that's
be
a good
real,
one.
right? That could be real.
Yeah.
Offense
He was
is
banged
good.
up,
Maybe he's still got something.
Yeah, my running backs
I
are
got
so Shope's running backs. How about JCM and Brashard Smith?
I know.
Feel Maffa. Hat tip to Zach for that.
Feel Maffa. I'm trying to see if the guy. Okay, Pat has Kyle Monungai. Has anyone selected? Yes, Jordan James has been picked. It's thin. It's thin here.
Thin.
Has Mr. Tucker been picked? Mr. Tucker has been picked.
Last week. Yeah.
Nobody for the guy we talked about right off the top.
How about I don't want Dameon Pierce. How about Ty Johnson? Has he been picked? Has Ty Johnson been picked?
No,
I will select
all yours.
I will select Ty Johnson.
That works.
All right. I'm racing to the podium on this one. Newly clocked in with an ADP of 201.6, despite easily winning the RB2 job. I'll take DJ Giddens.
I can't believe you got to Giddens before me.
It's that hour he picked up on the time zones by going to Winnipeg. The extra hour of prep.
The chat, by the way, was hating on my wide receivers. I wouldn't be so quick to hate on my wide receivers. A lot of drumbeat there for Horton Royals and KLS. We didn't really talk about KLS. I think we should. That should be our closing segment.
Oh yeah, we should talk about KLS.
Pat, you're gonna make a pick.
Right. I'm just trying to make sure I don't take someone who's been taken. All right, I'll take a new addition who's falling. Maybe not even a new addition. I'll take Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah.
It's only the weeks. I just need him to do something by the very end of the year. Very end.
I wanted to mention one more name when Davis was in on the Packers, and that's Christian Watson. Has he been mentioned once all year on this show? I mean, he's recovering. We know the history. Late in the season, I thought about him for this, but didn't pick him. Didn't want him to go unmentioned, though, because there's a little bit of buzz. Maybe that's too strong.
Yeah. I mean, I can
Consigliere. This is the first weekend it was eligible, and I let Jacob go first, like a nice guy.
Yeah.
That's what it got me.
Well, I know exactly what Pat always does. He always does the let's look who just got into the 200.
yeah, of course.
So I knew if that got to Pat, I knew exactly where he was going.
All those long flights, no time for the last call prep. That's all right.
That's right.
We'll run this through the last week of the regular season, the preseason rather, or the week after that. There's a week after that before the regular season starts. Davis, the Chargers.
So they are going to sign Keenan Allen. Sounds like they're just figuring out the money on that today. I agree with Jacob that it's not the best use of their resources. Like that shouldn't be their plan, but hard to tell if I'm just coat posting or lost in the sauce or whatever. But I kind of feel like Keenan Allen signing doesn't really do much to the odds that KLS impacts your fantasy football teams, because the boundary for him impacting your team is the same, which is he's got to play better than Trey Harris regardless. He wasn't going to be given snaps over Trey Harris if he was playing poorly. So I think it's basically the same thing. Maybe there's fewer rotational wide receiver 4 snaps, but I that is kind of my read.
I think it matters because he now has to play better than Quinton Johnston too.
Well, that I feel is quite a low border.
That's fair.
Like sharp teams will sometimes clear out these like older veterans that are just going to block the young guys.
I know.
No, the Chargers do the exact opposite always.
Keenan can only play in the slot now, right? Like you're not going to put. Are you going to put Keenan out wide? So that means Ladd's out wide now. Ladd should be in the slot a lot. Like
Ladd 79% of his routes at Georgia were from the outside. I kind of think that's
sure.
fine.
No, I
his
get
NFL
outside.
He can, but I don't know. Like, if you're doing anything that isn't maximizing what Ladd is doing on that play, you're not designing an offense optimally. Like, don't.
Yes.
If you bring in a guy that forces you to change Ladd McConkey's usage, then don't bring him in. It's just strange to me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying on Twitter, and people, the haters disagreed, but yeah, I think this legitimately makes your team worse. I would much rather have Ladd in the slot, surrounded by whatever two of the fast outside receivers they think are best, and then just cater everything to Ladd. And if he gets locked up, then you have one-on-ones on the outside. But everything should be flowing through Ladd. Bringing in Keenan to play Ladd's position that he just thrived in is so silly. And yeah, I agree.
It makes the most sense is like he's a handcuff. He's a Ladd handcuff that if Ladd misses time, will play Keenan. But yeah, any snaps that Keenan's in the slot and Ladd is actually, less likely to get targeted or bad snaps.
You guys drafting Keenan Allen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like as much as I think that he is not a very good real life player, my view on Keenan Allen is just that, like, he's a player where he's just a lot of empty calories. Like the lowest percentage possible of his production for fantasy is useful to an NFL team, but like he will still, I think, produce. Like if he's on the Chargers and he plays a lot of snaps, I think he'll probably earn a lot of targets. He did on the Bears last year too. I don't think he was a better real life player than Roma Dunze, but he was more productive. So we'll see. The last note I'll make on that, I've seen a lot of people cite that his yards per route run is higher on the outside than it is in the slot. I think that is misleading information in that he plays in a Greg Roman offense that plays a ton of 12 and 13 personnel, and Ladd would be in the slot every time they would play 11. He would move outside in 12 and 13. So the snaps he was getting outside were all snaps that was like, we have 3 tight ends and Ladd on the field. So it's not that shocking that his yards per route run was extraordinarily high on those snaps. I don't think that means you don't want to play him in the slot. I think you would rather play him in the slot.
So I guess I'll be the Keenan bear here in that, you're saying if he's on the Chargers and he's getting a lot of routes, he's going to earn targets. But just because he's on the Chargers, we know he's getting a lot of routes. He played 54% of his snaps from the slot last year. He was at 59% his last year with the Chargers. Ladd was at 69% in the slot last year. So this could be a signal that because Keenan Allen was available, and by the way, he's been available the entire offseason, they just decided in August that actually they want to move Ladd McConkey to the outside all the time, right?
Right.
Or Keenan's going to play outside, which seems now that changes the Keenan bet completely because I don't think he's going to be able to beat corners on the outside, especially if Ladd's in the slot. Like he's going to get those targets. He's getting the easy targets. Or Keenan is a rotational player. And he's not going to be playing like he's out there for like half the snaps or even less. And then we also are now at the point, as we talked about before, we're trying to draft guys who weren't drafted early in the season who can actually crush and be the league winners. Keenan's not going to be a league winner. He can maybe help you out here or there. He can be a chaperone if you're taking like a Brandon Ayuk or something. But like he's not going to have this huge impact. And there's actually a decent amount of downside still because the deployment could be pretty weak. Also, he might be washed. So you've got that going against you too. So I don't know. I mean, like a guy like Kyle Monungai, I think I'm more interested in than Keenan Allen. Like he might be the downhill runner by the end of the season. That could matter a lot more to me than 33-year-old Keenan Allen, who might be in a part-time role. And Keenan Allen, by the way, has been drafted the entire way. This is not a guy who was going undrafted and now will be drafted. He's on teams. He's on teams for May, June, whatever.
Very interested to see what happens with Elijah Moore here in the next couple of weeks in Buffalo, just with the Shakir injury. Maybe that actually pops too for guys, like you're talking about, Pat, in that same context, not being drafted at all. Okay. Final thoughts, Jacob. Let's start with you. What have you got coming up this week?
Yeah, I'm back from my Manitoba bachelor party weekend tomorrow. Not my bachelor party. As Pete noted on Twitter, I'm at no risk of a real life relationship threatening my fantasy production. So this week we'll be starting up the preseason Hitchhiker's Guide. So we'll be doing extended pieces on every backfield. I would basically expect to have a handful of backfields out every couple of days until the end of August from now. So keep posted there. The best ball ranks update basically every day at this point. And I will update the redraft and dynasty ranks less frequently, but as frequently as I can.
Pat?
Going to have an article out later today. I'm going to get it up basically as soon as we get off here. I looked into the breakout wide receivers from 2018 through last year, and kind of looking at some factors that were interesting. Not all of them like had all of these factors, but there's sort of different paths to how these guys became the league winning receivers in like the rounds 4 to 6 range. And then I'm going to have a series of articles looking individually at the receivers going in that range this year and talking through, their potential paths to being this year's league winning mid-round breakout at the wide receiver position. So basically rolling those out every day for the next couple weeks is my plan there. So first one will be out today. The next one is on Zay Flowers. That'll be out tomorrow. We've got the Sidekick rolling, legendaryupside.com/sidekick. And working on redraft rankings as well, hoping to get those out by the end of the week.
Davis, time's up on guessing. The jersey over my shoulder is that of Rick Tootin, the Bills punter in 1990. Did they have it?
Someone in the chat had it. They knew it, which I was very impressed by.
Incredible.
I thought, Tootin is a sort of that's a buzzy name right now. And also his son-in-law, I believe, is Tyler Bass, who has not yet kicked for the Bills this camp. He's got a pelvic issue, so I don't know where that'll end up. What have you got coming up today, this week?
Tomorrow, marathon stream, 9 a.m. Eastern to probably 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a subathon. So from the start of the stream to the end of the stream, for every person who subs, I'll give away $1. So I think I'm going to max it at like 1,000. I don't want anyone botting me and making me give away $13,000 or whatever. Crane's going to be on. Pete's going to be on. Silva's going to be on. Nick, our boy, Nick Ercolano is going to be on. Dink is going to be on. All your favorites are going to be there. So looking forward to seeing you guys hop in tomorrow.
Very good. I may want to crash. I'm off all week. I'll be mowing the lawn and fixing things and running my kids around up to Whitby, Jacob, for under 17 box lacrosse provincials in Ontario the rest of the week. So thank you for today.
Lacrosse provincials. That's our national sport, by the way. People think it's hockey. It's actually lacrosse is our official national sport.
Wow.
And it's almost entirely of the indoor variety in Canada. We have, players who play outdoors in Western New York, but league-wise, it's all box.
It's also the oldest organized sport in North America.
Yeah, because the native population played it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Raiders game. Very good. Thanks to you guys and for everybody watching and listening. We'll see you next week here on ADP Chasing. Goodbye.